Luke chapter number 18, verse number 1, and I read. And he spake a parable unto them to this end, that men ought always to pray, and not to faint. Jesus was speaking to his disciples, and he was speaking in parables. But he said to them, in plain language, men ought always to pray, and not to faint. Now, we need to understand that prayer is a principle, one of the most vital principles of the kingdom of God. Prayer is not just an act. Prayer is a culture. Prayer is a lifestyle. Prayer is a principle of the kingdom. If you claim to be Christian and you don't pray, then you don't understand what Christianity is all about. In fact, you are not yet a Christian. Sorry to say this. You might be a Christian because you go to church. You might be a Christian because you believe in Jesus. No problem. But if you say you are true Christian and you don't have foundation of prayer, you don't have a lifestyle of prayer, then how do you communicate with the God to whom you are serving? Because prayer first is a communication avenue, communication channel with the God that we serve. At that point, as you communicate with God, God begins to communicate back to you through prayer. Prayer is an expression of faith in God. So how can you call yourself a Christian and you live through the week, through the month, and even through the year? Some of you don't even pray. That's not the lifestyle of a Christian. Let me tell you something. If you don't pray, you are going to become a victim. In many ways, you will be a victim to the powers of darkness. Because prayer petrifies the devil. Listen, I repeat again. Prayer petrifies the devil. Why do you think, or why do you notice, have you noticed that it is usually difficult for you to pray? You can spend all the time watching your television. You can spend all the time watching soap opera. You can spend all the time reading novel, reading newspaper. You can spend all the time watching movies even through the night. But the moment you want to start praying, something else begins to happen. You start dozing off. You start feeling weak. You start feeling, you start feeling discouraged. Why? Because the devil does not want you to pray. And you cannot live a true victorious life, a true Christian life, victorious life, until you are a man of prayer. So Jesus said, men ought always to pray. Men must pray, or else they become cowardice, or else they begin to faint, or else they begin to die, or else they begin to grow weary, or else they begin to grow weak. The Bible said, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up as the eagle. They shall run and they shall not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. It's talking about prayer. Waiting on God in the place of prayer gives you the supernatural strength to mount up. You are strengthened with mind in your spirit. You are strengthened with mind by the Spirit of God. With strength. When you pray, your eyes begin to open. When you pray, you begin to receive supernatural awareness, spiritual awareness of your environment, spiritual awareness of your spiritual environment. You begin to understand the things that are happening around you. There are certain things that will not happen in your life anymore when you learn to pray. There are kind of prayer I'm talking about. I'm not just talking about the prayer that is saturated with yourself, self-centered prayers. It's about give me. That is the only prayer people know how to pray. A lot of people know how to pray. They wake up in the morning, all they're asking God is give me this, give me that. They only pray when they have problem. They only pray when they have bad dreams. They only pray when there is bad news. They only pray when they want to write exam. They only pray when they are expecting money. They only pray when something is coming their way. That's the only time they pray. They pray when they are in danger. That is when they remember to pray. No! Prayer is a lifestyle. Begin a prayer life. Learn to communicate with God. Learn to fellowship with God. Learn to relate with God. Learn to find the heart of God. Because in the place of prayer, God unveils his heart to you. God unveils his heartbeat to you. God reveals himself to you. God, in the place of prayer, pours out his spirit upon you, and you begin to live a victorious life. Rise in the place where you are and learn to pray. When you are weak is the more reason why you should pray. When you are discouraged is the more reason why you should pray. Wake up to pray. Wake up to pray. Wake up to pray. Because in the place of prayer, power is released to you. In the place of prayer, power is released to you. In the place of power, victory is released to you. In the place of power, faith is